What they should do. I'm going to play this from a fan actually about him, but I'd love to get your opinion on what they should do moving forward.
Like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, looks like it's probably a duck. So Arsenal finished second.
Right, wrong clip. This was
Salah a duck.
Sorry, this was Scholesy talking about it. Sorry.
He needs to grow up, doesn't he? He's acting like a baby. He's been left out. He's been one of the best players, and he's an unbelievable player. But he's not playing well enough to get in the team. He's aired it publicly, which is wrong. If you've got a problem with the manager, go and see your manager. He's trying to force his exit out of the club now.
I would drag Mo Salah in and I'd say to him, you're never playing for me again, so you get your arsehole agents to go and sort out with our board and get out of this club for you, because you're not playing for me ever again. And whether that's right or wrong, he has to do that as a leader. And it's a bit like when, you know, a big player, you talk about Yapstam, you talk about Roy Keane, you talk about David Beckham, big superstar players. And Sir Alex Ferguson moved them on, and that's because you have to be the leader of the football club when you're a manager. Slot doesn't do that now. He's never going to have the respect, or the board won't be looking down at him and going, "You're our man." They can't. They can't. And it might be the worst thing or wrong thing to do, but he has to go there and go, "Now I'm in charge, not you."
That's why I want Nicky Butt involved at Man United. I don't know why we let him go. I think he's absolutely spot on, and I think that it's not about like. I think the legacy of Salah needs to be protected 100%. You know, it's such a shame to flush it down the toilet. But ultimately, he has gone out and done something off the cuff, which probably breaches his contract, if we're being honest, and, you know, throws the whole club under the bus. And he shouldn't have done it. Now, if he's not apologetic, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't, there can't be a way back. But also, Nicky's right in the sense that they've got a game against Brighton at the weekend, and then it's the AFCON. If you can find a way, well, they found a way to not get him involved in Inter tonight. If you can find a way to not get him involved in Brighton, and I think they will, then basically you've got that month to move him on. And yeah, I mean, look, as a manager, I agree. I think you know, if you're going to be that guy, you can't have you can't have a player that's going to go rogue. And also, he's not been very good this season, Terry. I've defended Salah. Year after year, people keep saying he's falling off, and he'll still get 20 Premier League goals. He's not going to do that this season. He has literally fell off. So I think that there needs to be an amicable way of doing it. I mean, look, John Terry said he agrees that Mo Salah has been scapegoated a bit. And I agree with that. I think he has been scapegoated a bit. Like Van Dijk's shite this season, and he's the captain. He's turning his back on the ball. He's giving it away. Van Dijk's playing shit. But Van Dijk's not coming out and going, or the club have thrown me under the bus. Salah's mistake is that interview. Is he being scapegoated? Look, he's not the only problem at that team, but he's the best player. And he should be fully aware that you're going to get that as the best player. It's in a way, it's a compliment. His big mistake is that interview. And I do not for 1 minute think it was premeditated, because I think the damage it's done him, why would you do it?
Yeah, have you seen the reverse angle of it, where the press officer, of Liverpool's, it's a thing.
What do you do? What can you do?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, my mindset is like grab him and pull him away, but there's no way you can do that. Like you'll be in absolute hot water. But I agree with Butty as well. To be fair with you, I don't even think it's a hot take. I think it's absolutely spot on. This is where United have gone wrong over the years. There are players that weren't good for how we were trying to play football. Some of them were big stars in the game, legends of the club. And we as fans actually were very bad. We'd side with the players because we didn't believe in the manager. And I've called this out for many, 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 many years, that it's not about protecting Jose or Ollie or Ten Hag or Amrim. It's the position they hold. You can't Man United have weakened. The Glazers weakened the position of manager at our club to a point where I still don't think it's fully respected. I still don't think players give it their all every single game, every single day of the week. Now, I think some do. I think some don't. But it's been a cultural issue. And this is where Liverpool have got to be really careful they don't set a precedent with a very, very slippery slope. Because if Mo Salah now gets to come back in without a public apology, without holding his hands up and saying, I was wrong for doing this, then you create a rod for your own back. More players will do this. The manager will lose the respect of that dressing room. And if FSG, Hughes and Edwards walk into that dressing room today, after the game tonight, and say, listen, Salah's going to go, we're back in slot. If any of you have got a problem with that, you're gone as well. They have to make that stance, because otherwise the players will realize they rule the roost. And human beings have got a horrible habit of pulling on that. They really, really do. So Liverpool got to be very, very careful here. Nicky Butt is absolutely spot on. Apologise to who exactly? The manager, his teammates, his fans. That's who he should apologise to. There's a way of doing things professionally, Twisted Bubba, and there's a way of doing things underhand. Have private conversations. This is something that shouldn't be made public. And in fairness to Slot, I watched his interview yesterday. He handled it a lot better than Ten Hag did when talking about Sancho. Does that make sense? It's the element of he's actually responded with some grace. So that's how it's got to be done. And if Mo Salah's not willing to do that, then yes, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but nobody's bigger than the club. The club has got to be in control. That's just my view. A few super chats here. This from Patrick. He says Salah's agent should have told him to say nothing and bide his time. Slots is on thin ice. Good chance he gets sacked, and the next guy will have you in because they have to. He has been ill-advised. Do you think he's been badly advised, or do you think he's done it emotionally off the cuff?
I think he has done it off the cuff. I mean, I know Carragher's. I mean, this is what I mean. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I haven't got a problem with Carragher disliking Salah, but it's just very obvious he does. And if he doesn't like Salah, it's a very weird, contradictory way that he speaks about other players. So I think he has got a problem with Salah, and I think Salah's got a problem with him. And these are competitive sports people. So look, that whatever. But I can't see why you'd premeditate that with your agent to wait for an opportunity to do that, because you're basically. I mean, look, we all want legacy, and why would you damage your legacy 2 weeks out from the AFCON when, even if you are on the bench for Inter and Brighton, you might get a few minutes and a chance to, win your place back, and then you can go in January anyway. It's definitely stinks of a momentary moment of frustration.
Apologise to the fans. The fans back Salah, pal. Not all of them do. And I haven't.
But it shouldn't be about that anyway. I mean, maybe some people do back Salah, and we're not Liverpool fans. And I said the same about Trent. This is Liverpool fans to make their decision on, and some of them will back Salah. But I must admit, I think that's a little bit player FC, because he's in the wrong. You learn a lot from people from the outside. No player should go rogue at the end of a game, get the press together, and slag the club off. That's your club. You might not like your owners, you might not like your manager, but you can't choose a player over the club, and he shouldn't have done that. And you might understand why he's done it, and you might love him as a player, and he might be a legend of your club, and he is. But ultimately, he's decided to stand there in front of the press, the vermin of football. They've got no loyalty to your club. They just want a story. He's gone out there and he's given them a story and damaged your club. It's nothing that can't be resolved, but he's not in the right for doing that. That's not me. You don't have to choose between Slot and Salah. You don't have to choose between your board and Salah. That's between what your club stands for and Salah. He shouldn't have done that. No player should do that. If Bruno Fernandes did that, I'd be fuming with him. If Ronaldo, I was fuming with Ronaldo for the Piers Morgan interview. I thought it was bang out of order. Even though he spoke a lot of sense, I still think it was disrespectful to do that to Manchester United. Not the owners, they're knobheads, but to Manchester United and what it's meant to be about.
No, I completely agree. There's a right and a wrong way of going about these things. This here from Ola, he says people should remember that Carragher is working for the organisation which started the lies about Hillsborough. Where is his loyalty?
I don't think Sky started the lies about Hillsborough, did they?
So, Ola, you're not now. So, the original owners of Sky was Rupert Murdoch, who owns The Sun, but they haven't been involved with the ownership of Sky for about 15 or so plus years. So Carragher's not working for them. If he was working for TalkSport, different conversation. TalkSport is owned by the same media company that owns The Sun, which is why there's an Irish football correspondent and presenter whose name now eludes me, who left when Murdoch's company took over TalkSport, because he said, as a Liverpool fan, I can't work for them. And I thought that was very, very honourable of him. But no, Sky are no longer owned by Rupert Murdoch's company. So
I think you can say a lot of things about Jamie Carragher, and you say a lot of things about Liverpool, and most of us will never understand it unless we're from Liverpool, because they're a very proud city with very, very big beliefs in certain things. But I'll say this: Jamie Carragher wouldn't be working for an organisation that he felt had anything to do with what happened with Hillsborough.
Yeah, it was Colin Murray who left that. Yeah, absolutely. But no, the Rupert Murdoch's media company used to own Sky, but they haven't for about 15 to 20 years. So that's false. Thanks for the super chat, but it's not real. Carragher was correct. Salah only speaks when he wants something. He comes across very selfish. What a way to help your teammates and fans. Must leave, is what Ginger Bish says here.
With a Man United player in his bio.
Yeah. Look, I think he'll go. I don't think he'll kick a ball for Liverpool again. I think it'll be over, and it'll be.
I don't. They've got to do. But there has to be like, if he respects his legacy and he respects the fans of Liverpool, they all need to get in a room and do something that's like signing off in a proper way. Because you can't have that. You can't just be that I'm off to Qatar or the MLS or wherever. There's got to be a resolution, and there's a bit of PR to be done there on all sides, really.
This is a big take that says our players over club makes you a bad fan. Simples. Yeah, I do.
It's the modern world, though.
Yeah, a lot of people pick players over their club. A lot of people.
I don't know whether it makes you a bad fan. I just think it's something that some of us can't relate to, and sometimes we can't relate to something, so we just dismiss it. But it is more and more prevalent now that you can support a player over a club, and some people do, and we shouldn't be dismissive of it. But for those of us who support clubs, we don't understand it, I think.
Yeah, and be a bad fan might not be the right phrase, but I do look at it from the perspective that if the club operated the way a lot of Player FC people work, it's what's best for their favorite player, not what's best for the club. Typically, what they want is what's best for their player. So therefore, you're not putting the club first. If you're not putting the club first, there's a good chance the club fails, and United have done that. He was doing it to lower the price so he can get sold in January and get more money himself. Benching is just an alibi for doing it. Maybe, Harold. Maybe. I think he could get a move anyway. This here from Andy. It's a simple answer. Even if you can't respect your owners, manager, or even teammates, respect the badge of the club, regardless of what club you play for. Yeah, look, I agree. Look, I think a lot of it is also about, again, we all have moments where we do things we regret. I'm just someone that was brought up in a way where you respected your boss, the company you work for, your teachers at school, authority. That's just the way my dad brought me up to be. So I find I'm not saying I've always done it. I've definitely messed up. I've definitely said things I shouldn't. So I get why Mo has done it, but it doesn't make it right just because you're in an emotional state. At the end of the day, Mo has made a mistake.